The fear of being alone that keeps marriages, bad marriages, alive. Dirty texts, dick pics, and boiling over. Stop using boundaries, guys. You have an apology problem. You are holding yourself back. What you can do or what to do when you're not having sex. You've never seen us in action. There is always something that you need to do better. The fear of being alone that keeps marriages, bad marriages, alive. Now, welcome to Morrow Marriage Podcast, guys. I thought this would be an awesome episode after the Breaking the Cycle episode, okay? Why? Because we inherently run on bad emotions, okay? Fear. Fear is a big one. And let me just give you a backstory. So if you think about who I was with Kathryn in the beginning and how insecure I was, terrified to lose her, terrified if she didn't love me that I'd be nothing. So it was not necessarily a fear of being alone, because I was terrified of being alone without her. And some of you guys need to know that, because you'll start talking about like, oh, I can find somebody who the grass is greener, blah, blah, blah. Okay?
Then you're not alone.
Then you're not alone. Right. So you are supporting that fear. Keeps bad marriage alive because you start to actually misunderstand and misrepresent the person that you want to be in the future. So when we talked about it, you said, I don't really understand. Well, I'm insecure.
Yeah, can I ask a question for the audience? So I said, I don't understand, because if you're taking let's call it one of your issues, so we'll use his, which was insecurity. If you're using insecurity to try to keep me from leaving, but yet the manifestation of that behavior is pushing me away, how is that fulfilling your desire to be loved? How it's so counterintuitive, and it seems backwards to me. So you want to prevent yourself from being alone. You're afraid of losing her. You're afraid of losing him, but you're doing the very thing that makes them want to leave you, which the result of that is you being alone.
100%. What you have to realize is, so if you go fast forward in our story, okay? For years, I depended on Kathryn to love me and pass the test, so to speak, right? So if I pushed her away and she said, no, I'm here, then
I came back.
Then I'm not losing her, right? I'm not going to be alone, which is enabling it. Yes.
Perpetuated it.
That's right. So if you can recognize that, and then fast forward a little bit later where I'm more secure, but I'm not so dependent on Kathryn to be secure, meaning I can turn it around. I can turn it off. There's a journey, guys. This wasn't like an off switch in one day, and it's faster when we work with you because we were learning. But what happens is, in that process, you're actually learning to identify who you are and the person you want to be, right? Where when you do what future you would do, you can't really go backwards and fuck up. I'm not operating in fear of losing Kathryn. I'm acting in love, and the byproduct is Kathryn says, I'd be crazy to live without you.
Correct.
Okay, right?
Yes.
Are you gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
Soaking it all in.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so what I need you to take away from this, because it's perpetuating your bad marriage. And I like the expression, keeping bad marriages alive, because for so many years.
Not our tagline.
No, it's not our tagline.
Go get your wife.
Yeah.
Keeping families together.
There we go. Excuse me. If you understand the process of growth and self-discovery and like peeling off the layers of the shit that I'm not an insecure man. So whenever I talk to you, if you're a man, you talk to me on the phone, now I'm like, you're not an insecure man. You're acting in fear. We don't have to go down the whole path of where this came from. I just need you to understand that you're just afraid of something, and fear can be your fuel, right? But if you're constantly living in that fear and it's not fueling you, it's anchoring you, you're going to act out in ways, it's going to manifest behaviors, okay, where you create the exact life you want. Let's use insecurity for the first example, right? If you continually ask someone why they don't want you, where are they going, what are they doing with the underwear, blah, 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 okay? Then what happens? Then potentially they're gonna wanna talk to somebody who's much safer than you. Potentially they're gonna wanna scroll on their phone and never have a conversation with you. You get to a point where you're a man on the phone with I was on today and like she's not talking to him, doesn't know if he's blocked or whatever, all right? You created that. Like if there's another man that I talked to last week, his wife is like, they're done, over, I don't believe her changes, blah, blah, blah. And she's inviting him to hang out and do this and do that. That's a woman who's saying something, who's trying to send out trying to pass her test. Maybe she doesn't want to be alone, right? I don't know. Hopefully it's because she wants to, continue to move it forward. But there's a It's a massive and drastic, a mastic behavior similarity there, where difference there, where you have one person who won't even talk to you anymore, and you have another wife who's like, you know what, like I'm done with this, but like, hey, I'll hang out, right? Now then she might have to be running the risk of what you did, enabling, because she left for a reason. So I think you guys have to really understand that the whole fear of being alone is going to be broken down into different things about the person you are and who you want to be when you're together. And by the way, that same person needs to exist when you're not together. And that's the biggest problem, I think. People try to change for their partner so they don't have to be alone because they don't want to lose them. If you're one of the 3 men that I talked to in the last 2 days who just, what do you love about your wife? And you broke down crying. Well, that's because you're afraid of being alone. You're afraid of losing the one. How many years do you think I wasted not giving you love?
6.
Yeah. 4 big ones. Okay.
And then 2 roller coastery ones.
2 roller coastery ones. And I mean, I'm not even in the 4 years, there was some stuff that was slightly better, but really 4 big ones, 2 roller coaster years, all living in fear, creating my own chaos, not learning to deal with anxiety, listening to how the world deals with that shit, fucking pills and not actually results. You know what I mean? Like, go back to when she was talking about weight loss, right? Like, you have to think, like, if your set point is fear of losing, then you are perpetuating the bad marriages. And how does it keep it alive? Because everybody wants to hope. That's why you listen to this podcast. What you need to do is operate in faith in yourself, right? It doesn't matter what one of us says to the other. Let's pretend we're having a really bad fucking day or we had a really bad disagreement. We still have to want to, in that moment, be who we stand in, right? And it is knowing the togetherness. And or it would normally typically be one and then the other would have reflection. And that doesn't mean no reflection on both sides, but you know what I'm saying? Like
ideally, both reflection on both sides.
Yeah.
But if you guys are listening to this podcast, you know that sometimes we only work with men. Sometimes we only work with women. We don't often get 2 people who are both willing to reflect. So if that's you and you're the one that's willing to reflect, that's great. Then you'll influence that from your partner. But you need to be the one that's standing in, who am I? Who do I want to be? Not the sabotage. Let me prove that he loves me. Let me make him prove that he loves me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that would go back to something that's age old for moral marriage. And that is that, like, when you start to make some changes in your partner is like I was thinking about the not trusting you thing, right? Like, we got to get better at that. If you start to get what you finally want, you know, like, I can't think of a good example right now from our life, but
like when you stopped yelling.
Yeah, when I stopped yelling, yeah. It's almost like she was pushing me to see if I would yell. Like, you got to lift your partner, right? You just got to lift. You got to lift them. Whatever it is that you don't like, however much it fucking hurts, your job is to lift your partner. That's it. It's not about being selfish. It's about being selfless, right? That's what marriage really is, right? Wouldn't you say? Yeah. And then the moment that, you know, like if you start to assess our situation, the moment I started to realize she was lifting me, she wasn't encouraging my insecurity. She was lifting me, but also not letting aloneness, or like actually aloneness, I don't want to say lonely, but not letting the fear of being alone rule her or fucking up or whatever, then she could do a lot of other things for me, right? It's about the opportunity you get when you have a fear. You want to conquer it. It's your fucking fear. And you as a partner, if you don't have that obstacle, whatever it is, okay? Well, even if you do, actually, you still lift your partners. Neither of us are perfect, you guys. Whatever it is that you see in the real world, and people love seeing us like at our event, we want you guys to come because when you see it, you love it and you believe it. But we still are fucking human, right? And we have to do a lot to lift each other, right?
Yeah,
You're the only thing that matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.